5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
So Daisy, don't go away. I'm here. I'm there. I'm every fucking where. Oh, well, I am tonight. Welcome back for Sloppy Seconds. Hope you are all well. Just try and see if I can get that to work, and I can't, so let's just do it as that. Welcome along to the preview show. We had the prediction show earlier. If any of you saw that, you'll know neither myself nor Josh are particularly looking forward to the game this weekend. Playing a team on form. They must be absolutely delighted to be playing us, because I think it's a guaranteed 3 points at the moment. Will Marty still be there afterwards? That's going to be the question. Can we afford to sack him? That is another question. Ronald is in. Good evening, Ronald. How the devil are you, sir? We've got a Sheffield United fan in here who's smiling from ear to ear, and I don't blame him. And he's got a new manager. Well, he hasn't got a new manager. This is it. He's got an extremely old manager that I think I was trying to work out how Sheffield United actually pick their managers, and I think it's the okey cokey method. You know, you bring Chris Wilder in, you sack Chris Wilder, you bring him in, you sick him out, shake it all about. I think that's the way they do it. He'll kill me now. Let's get on with it. This is the preview show, and it's Leicester City versus Sheffield United, and we'll bring in Dylan from the Sheffield way. Dylan, good evening, sir. I'm sorry that you had to hear me singing there. It's all uphill from that point, and it's the Sheffield United way.
Yeah, evening, Chris. Evening, Foxes. How's it going? Good to be here.
Yeah. Well, don't ask how it's going. You know, have you got about 4 hours? It could be that long. It's not going well. Nate, good evening from America. Happy Thanksgiving to you. What are you doing in here? You should be out there getting pissed, but nice to have you along. Yeah, I mean, two clubs here that are going in completely different directions.
Yeah, I mean, we're slightly trending upwards now. It's been a long way to get here, and I mean, yeah, we're unbeaten in 3, which isn't like we're not setting records, but you know, it's something for us. We had a really poor start, so hopefully we can continue this good form. But honestly, I've got no idea, because I've thought that so many times this season, and then we've dropped back again. So yeah, we'll see what direction we keep heading in from now. Really,
early morning kickoff. Don't forget, anybody that's watching, we're doing the watch along live from 11:30. Do you travel to the matches? Or are you not able to do that?
Yeah, travel. Yeah, I'll be going. Yeah, nice and early. I mean, I study in York, so it's going to be an extra early start for me, down to Sheffield at like leaving like 7 a.m. Train down to Leicester at 9, and then yeah.
It's not a million miles away, is it?
No, it's not,
Sheffield to Leicester, and if you're
no,
driving down the
yeah.
M1. But yeah, look, I did warn you that I was going to ask you about this particular gentleman at the start. By the end of last season, you were you'd had quite a good season. Well, you had a very good season. Trailed off at the end, and you ended up in the playoffs. Obviously, you lost to Sunderland, and we know all about losing in playoffs. But you sacked Chris Wilder and you appointed the devil incarnate here, didn't you?
That's a brilliant image. That's amazing.
I'll send it. Yeah, I'll send it. I mean, the guy. Look, we had Ruud van Nistelrooy last season, and we set so many records in the Premier League for the most games, lost the most games, gone without scoring goals. At least we actually did manage to win one game, and possibly no. In fairness, 2 games. This guy, he was in charge for 6 games. He didn't win any. Like you said earlier, the only manager to get 0% on the win ratio as the Sheffield United manager. Why did you make the change?
Well, about this time last year, we got a new American consortium take control of the club, and that's sort of where it stemmed from. Because Wilder, he's quite old fashioned with the way that he wants to manage the club. He wants to be in charge of everything. He wants to have control of the club from top to bottom, which is unusual for most teams to do that now. But United have sort of stuck with it because we know what Wilder's capable of when he's given what he wants. And that is why he left the first time, actually, because the old owner wanted to bring in a director of football to sort of try and modernise the club a bit, and Wilder wasn't having any of it, and that led to him leaving the first time. So the new owners, they came in, they gave him a big contract initially, and seemed to make it quite clear that Wilder was the man for the job and the man for the future. But then end of the season, they just changed their tune, and I think he would have probably got sacked whether we'd won the playoff final or not, whether we would have been in Premier League or Championship, because I think by that point they decided that they wanted to bring in a more modern coach who plays a different style of football, and they can have more of a say in who they sign and how they spend the money. And so they made the change. They brought in Ruben Sellers, who was not a super proven coach, but he's had a couple of good jobs, and they thought we can take this fairly young coach and bring him onto the next level, and he can work really well with the owners. And then it all imploded from there. Sellers wasn't the job was too big for Sellers, basically. He couldn't handle this squad who had been so ingrained into the way that Wilder had got him playing well, and the way that Wilder just sort of controlled the squad, like the players say in interviews all the time, that they will run through brick walls for Chris Wilder. The way that he gets them up for games is like no one else. So Sellers just couldn't get that response out of the club and out of the players, and so he had to go in the end, and it only took till the second week of September.
I mean, I'm looking here at his record, and he's not got a great managerial record. I mean, at Southampton, 17 games back in 2023, only 2 wins there.
Yeah. When he got that job, though, that they were as good as down. Like when he was in charge at Southampton, he never really had a chance. They were going down no matter what. He was just sort of stewarding them to the relegation, really.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. Good point. Reading, he didn't do too bad at Reading. 78-34. Hull, 28 games, 9 wins. When you sacked, and we'll come on to Chris Wilder in a minute, but when you sacked Chris Wilder and this guy came in, were you happy? Were you going mad? What the hell are the owners doing, and why have you brought in this guy? Or what were your thoughts at that time?
I was disappointed, didn't agree with the change, but there was part of me that thought, okay, I respect the decision. I respect that these are new owners, they've got their own way of doing things, and that if they want to bring in their own man to get the most out of this club, and it'll stop friction down the road with Wilder's management style and their management style, then I thought it could be for the best, but also it could still implode. So yeah, I wasn't happy. I felt bad about the decision. Never sat right with me at all, but I did understand what had gone on and why it had been made, basically.
at the end of the day, the owners, they put the money in, they own the clubs, they can really do what the hell they want when you think about it. You can I just say you did bugger up my prediction because I did have you finishing second after last season had Chris Wilder still been there, and it takes me back to. I know you said you don't follow Leicester, and obviously I get that. We know about you. Everybody knows about their own teams, and like I said, if somebody asked me, who do I fear from Sheffield United? I've no idea. You know what I mean? So I get that, but there's a famous clip, the "Don't Rub Your Eyes" clip, when Watford beat us in the semi-finals of the playoffs,
Yeah.
and with a penalty that we missed and we missed the second attempt. Went down the other end. Troy Deeney scored, and Nigel Pearson was the manager at the time. And we actually, we actually kept Nigel Pearson on, and that I think was the reason why we went up as champions the following year, because we had that continuity, and Pearson was there, and he knew the team, and he was able to take it up, which was why, like I say, and again, look from the outside there's a lot of non-United fans saying, "What the hell? Well, why has that happened?" But we were all joking about how it was going at Sheffield United, as you do. We weren't being nasty, but as the opposition fans do. Sheffield Wednesday must have loved it because they weren't actually bottom at that particular point. And we'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday more later. But then we all said, didn't we, that he would make a return. And if you like that picture, you may love that one. If that guy did not, and I said this before the show, if he did not say to the owners, "I'll come back, but I want naked women throwing rose petals on the pitch before I walk out for the first home game," there was something wrong with him, because he could have demanded anything at that point, couldn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, the crowd's response was basically what you'd expect. We rarely sell out home games, to be honest. We get pretty close a lot of the time, but that first game that he was back, it was a complete sellout. And for a random league game in September against Charlton, that would usually be like just run of the mill game. So to sell that out showed what the fans thought of him and how happy they were that he was back.
Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, and we did actually lose that game. It did take a bit to sort of start to get going again. But the whole vibe around the club changed.
Once you knew Ruben was on his way out, and you were probably very happy at that particular point, was this the guy you wanted to come back? Did you think, right, well, he's come back twice. I've never known a manager go back a third time. I mean, Jose's done it a couple of times. I don't think even he's managed 3 times. But was that what you wanted to happen, or did you think just another manager, whoever that happened to be?
Wilder would have been my first choice, yeah, definitely, because at that point when we've surrendered the first 6 games of the season, and all the confidence is stripped from the squad, you do just want to try and hit the reset button, and obviously it's not going to be exactly like back to how things were, because there is the confidence gone. There's been a summer transfer window where we signed the wrong players for the system that Wilder would want to play. But at that point, you're just like, bring him back, get some kind of stability, some normality in. And you could see it in the players. When Wilder came back his first day back in training, they posted a behind the scenes video of all the players greeting him. Honestly, they were so happy. They were so happy he was back.
I've got to say, actually, in fairness, I saw that video. I was watching it, and they were just so, like you say, so pleased to see him. A bit like when Craig Shakespeare, rest in peace, because he's passed now, came back a couple of seasons ago to Leicester. Talking of Leicester, of course, he was one of the managers supposedly linked. I'm sure it was agent talk with Leicester in the summer when we finally got rid of a certain Dutchman. I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan, but I feel like Voldemort. We can't mention his name. He must never be mentioned. The worst. I mean, he's up there with Sellers as sort of bad managers. But I mean, how do you think he would have? I mean, well, let me put it this way: a lot of Leicester fans was against this. Didn't want him. He's got this old style of play. He's not into this new modern 4-2-3-1, which I think's a shit. And he was very much put in the same.
We have played 4-2-3-1 for quite a lot of the last couple of years, to be fair.
Oh, have you? Right. You see, again, it's people's perception, isn't it? Because he was dumped in the same window, if you like, as Sean Dyche. The older style manager. Interesting that he plays. He still actually does, because I hate the 4-2-3-1. I've got to say, I hate playing out from the back. It's the devil's work, I'll tell you. And a lot of fans didn't know. I was actually, both with Sean Dyche and Chris Wilder, was actually saying, do you know what? I actually don't mind it. If we give him the job, he knows this division by the back of his hand. He could probably get us promoted, and then he might keep us just, we're not going to go up into the Premier League and do great things, but he might just keep us up for a season or two, and then we can move on maybe to somebody else. Do you think he would have done a good job at Leicester?
I think he could have done. I mean, yeah, outside of United, before he came to United, he'd done really well with a few lower league clubs. I think he got Oxford promoted, Northampton promoted. So he done well there, and then obviously he proved himself like nowhere else at United. But then after his first spell with the Blades, he went to Middlesbrough, did okay. Well, probably not okay. He didn't do great, got sacked. Watford, he went there sort of short term, didn't exactly do anything amazing. So I think for a big club like Leicester, it would have been a bit of a risk. But he could have done okay, yeah. Honestly.
I mean, looking where we are at the moment, which is we're dropping shit down a pan, and I use that. I'm very careful to use that analogy because that's what our players are at the moment. It needed somebody that was going to come in and say, this is what you are going to do because this is what I want to do, and I don't care if you don't like it. If you don't like it, you know where the exit door is. Is that his sort of management style?
No, I wouldn't say so because when he first came in, he did have to sort of pull up roots and change the whole culture of the club, and a lot of that was in bringing in his own players. But yeah, he can work with certain things. I would say he's a bit stubborn with certain things, especially in game. He's reluctant to change, but yeah, there's always a way for him to adapt.
Again, it's amazing sort of the images, and the perception you get of managers, and that's it. Like I say, I wouldn't have been. I'm going to say it wasn't necessarily my first choice, but I wouldn't have been overly upset had he got the job. Like I say, he comes back. Jesus Christ walking through the door. He's not necessarily gonna. Or do you think? What do you think he can achieve for you this season?
This season, mid-table would be ideal, really. From this point, I mean, when he first came back, there were murmurs of maybe we can get into the playoffs, but then it took a while for him to start picking up any points at all. Really, we didn't change too much immediately. So now, I mean, there's always still an outside chance of the playoffs in the Championship. We're 11 points off at the moment, which is like even we are just outside the relegation zone, so we are really far off in terms of position. But the Championship's so tight, and there is still a while left in the season, so there's always a chance. But I'd say now anything higher than 12th would be like a bit of a shock for me.
Yeah. Paul's in, evening all. Wilder is our Pearson. Yeah, I mean, Nigel Pearson, we'd all have him back. And I do apologise. I'm just wondering why I can't get any information up on Sheffield United because I'm typing Sheffield Wednesday in. I mean, would the owners accept the mid-table this season?
Yeah, definitely from this point, To be fair to them, they did hold their hands up after they sacked Sellers and said, we were trying this, it didn't work. We've listened to you. We brought Wilder back, and so that they can't be expecting Wilder to come in and go, all right, well, get us 90 points again straight away, because that's just not feasible at all. Yeah. So, yeah. From the point that he came in, they'd be happy with anything but relegation, really.
And do you think you were looking at relegation had you stuck with Sellers?
For the rest of the season, yeah. But when he was in, I was never really worried about relegation because I didn't think he'd last that long. But if we'd have known that Sellers was here for the season, no matter what, no matter how many games we'd lost, then I would think it is a real possibility, yeah.
I mean, look, you've won 4 games since he took over. Chris Wilder. You hadn't won any before that. I know, like I say, what you said about Leicester, but do you? I mean, our form at the moment, we are dropping, like I say, unbelievably. Is this a game you go into confidently?
No, because I know that Leicester aren't playing amazing at the moment, but they're still a good side, and we are. Yeah. But before the last couple of games, we were on a really barren run, and then it's very, very easy to look at United and go, oh, they've won 3-0 in both of the last 2 games. They're going to be right up for this. They're going to be thinking we can beat these, but that is only a couple of games against sides down near the bottom of the division. So I don't think you can read too much into that yet.
Well, you could argue that Leicester are down near the bottom of the division, and if PSR does as we think it will do, we could definitely be down there. But look, I'm just looking. I actually watched a lot of the Sheffield derby on that game, and I was surprised again with everything you've been through. And look, I know Sheffield Wednesday have been through a hell of a lot this season, but it's a derby game. And it's not a derby game like, say, us with Forest or something like that. It's a derby game against a team in your own division. I had, again, predicted a draw for that one. But I say played them off the pitch. That might be taking it a bit too far. But you looked comfortable. You never looked in any sort of, you weren't panicking at any point. At no point did I think, oh, Sheffield Wednesday are going to come back and nick this.
No, yeah. I mean, Wednesday are so far gone. Like their team is just a sort of mishmash of young players and players past their best. If anyone gets a good result against Wednesday this season, I don't think they can really read too much into it. And I know form goes out the window in a derby or whatever, but just they didn't have that quality in their squad, and our team were really up for it. So,
I get it. Do you feel? And look, we look at Coventry, who are probably are about our nearest neighbours, and they've been through the mill these last few seasons. They didn't even have a home to play at. They were playing at Northampton and Birmingham. And as a club ourselves that have been in administration twice, I've always said I would never want to see even a Coventry, a Derby, or a Forest go out of business. Yes, I'd love to see them relegated. Yes, I'd love to see all 3 of them in League Two, but I would never want to see them, because I worked in Bury for 2 or 3 years and saw they lost their club, and I knew what it meant to them. Did you have any sympathy for Sheffield Wednesday at all, or were you just sort of? That's a straight answer.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, whatever happens to Wednesday happens to Wednesday. I wouldn't feel any sympathy if they rotted in the lower leagues, if they went out of business, whatever. So some of my mates were saying, "Oh, but wouldn't want to go out of business. That's too far." They just wanted him to sort of get relegated a few times and just not really have to worry about him. But honestly, if they went out of business, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I'd just be like, oh, whatever.
Wow.
It'd be a really weird one, but yeah.
We're going to be talking weird things in a bit as well about Sheffield Wednesday, but I wasn't expecting that answer so quickly back, to be honest. I thought you might have given it a little bit of thought. That might have come across.
Well, all the Blades fans have had months of discussing this and going on like, these are looking like they're really in a really bad place. Everyone's got their standpoint sort of like established because it's been going on for so long. So
Yeah, yeah. And if the roles were reversed, would you want Sheffield Wednesday fans to feel sympathy for you?
no, not at all.
Mm,
We don't like each other. We know that we don't like each other. That's what makes a proper rivalry. You want your rivals to do as bad as possible, and you want your team to do as well as possible. So if we were if the shoe was on the other foot and they were giving us sympathy, I think what's going
yeah.
on? Wednesday fans supporting United, that'd be mad.
Because I know a lot of like you got. I say we haven't got an opposing team even in the same county, let alone in the same town. But you look at Liverpool and Everton, and yes, they want each other to lose. Of course they do, but they still have that kind of respect for each other. But that doesn't exist, does it? Not between Wednesday and United.
Well, I respect Wednesday. I respect that they are a historic club. They're like 150-year-old. There is a lot of history. They do have a big fan base. I respect that, but at the same time, I want Sheffield to just be United, as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Spoken like a true fan. Paul's asked a question there, and I must admit, our strikers are firing blanks. I've got to say, Daka got a goal a couple of games ago when we beat Stoke. Somehow we beat Stoke, and that's his first goal in about 350 odd days. So we're going to wait until this time next year for him to get his next goal. Carranza, who we've brought in, is he's just not up to it, I don't think. And then you've got Ayew and Bobby De Coveri, who neither of them are sort of number nines, if you like. They're both more number tens. And this was a guy who was available on a free because he wasn't attached to a club. And I and a few Leicester fans were going, there's no transfer fee. If he wants to play, we might get him on a good deal, and that's Patrick Bamford. You went and got him. How happy are you with him?
I'm pleased with the start he's made. He put in a bit of shift. He put in a decent shift in the last 20 minutes against Wednesday. Had his first start yesterday and scored. So he has made a good start, but I don't think I'd want him to be our starting number 9 every week. I mean, we only signed him on like a 6-week deal, so at the moment we've only got him until January. He's sort of got to play well enough to earn a new contract when the window comes, basically. So it's basically a free hit, and he's made a good start. And if he carries on like this, then he could definitely be playing for us for the rest of the season. But more than anything, we signed him as like a stopgap until January, and we can get another forward in. I reckon.
That's good business.
Yeah,
something we we don't ever say at all about Leicester now. But obviously, look, I've got to ask you about this striker, Mr. Cannon. Now, his Leicester career never really took off. We signed him. He'd been at Preston, I think, for a season, and we signed him when Enzo was in charge, and we signed him injured. He'd got a bad back, so we hardly ever saw him. And the problem with a lot of strikers at Paul's just said, Jesus gives us a stopgap. Well, if you want to speak to Jesus, there he is. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, and I said the problem with Leicester strikers is up until this season, you always had the ghost of Jamie Vardy, looking over your shoulder. You always came in, you always knew that he was going to be the first choice, and he never really got a chance at Leicester. But we always wondered, and then you read a lot of the press about it, and somebody said this was the best transfer that Leicester City made, because I think you gave us 10 million for him.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. Would have been even more if we got promoted. I think it would have gone up to 13 million. But yeah, Yeah, just the 10 million for Thomas Cannon.
Just the 10. No. Well, to be honest with you, we need the money. Please do get promoted if that's the case. We'd like that extra 3 million. But he didn't have a good start, did he?
No, and he's still not. I mean, fans are very critical of him, and I mean, I totally get why. I've not been pleased with him at all, really, because in most games he has offered absolutely nothing. He's hardly touched the ball, and when he has, he's not really created anything. But then that's not really his game. He's one of those that relies on service. Where if we can get the ball to him in a good position, then you would back him to score. And I can think of maybe 3 or 4 good chances that he's had this seat since we signed him, and that is literally it. He's really not had many, and he has scored two of those. So I trust his finishing abilities, but in this team, the way that we play, I don't think he's the right man for it.
But I mean, you had him. It was a Wilder signing, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And didn't he do all right? I thought he'd done all right under Wilder, or was that when you had him on loan?
No. He's never really performed for United that well. He's been here since January, scored 2 goals, and the rest of the time he's basically been just there doing very little.
So not worth the 10 million that you paid for him then?
No, not at all. No.
Good. We'd like to hear.
There's talk that Stoke might want him back though because he did do really well at Stoke. So if we can get anything near our money back in January for him, then every Blade would take that definitely.
Interesting. Can I just say, is that your current home shirt?
No, that's last season's.
Oh, is it? What the hell is that sponsor?
Oh, it's a crypto coin. It's
oh God, you've got them as well, have you? We have. So yeah, this season, Wilder's come back in. Like you say, it's going to take a while to get back to sort of where you were. It might not even be this season, as you say. Has he got you back? I mean, did Sellers was here 4-2-3-1, and has Wilder carried that on or taken you back to that?
Wilder's been playing around with it a bit, to be honest. We've been playing some 4-4-2, some like 5-3-2, 3-5-2, whatever.
Yeah.
A bit of 4-2-3-1. When he first came back, he was quite insistent on playing a sort of 4-2-3-1 with the lone striker, which didn't work because we didn't have a lone striker basically. So that wasn't working. It's changing around quite a lot at the moment. Every time a team sheet comes out, the Blades fans couldn't name you exactly who's going to be on there. It changes around quite a bit.
And do you think that's a detriment to the team? Because we've got that where there seems to be changes every week and people aren't getting used to playing with each other. Or is it a case of look, we know he's got to try and find the best of what he's got now?
Yeah, it's definitely he's got to try and figure out where he wants to go forward because we spent the whole of the summer selling off players that fit the Wilder system to bring in players that fit the Sellers system. And then now Sellers has gone and Wilder's back. That's left us in a tough spot because we don't have the players for Wilder's system. So, Wilder was banging on for ages about how we didn't have the big forward that he wanted because we sold Kiefer Moore and didn't replace him in the summer, which obviously isn't Wilder's fault. He wasn't here. So that's why we've got Bamford now. And so there is a chance that Wilder wants to use that and use him to sort of be like we were playing towards the end of last season, which was a 4-4-2 with a big striker and Campbell as well, who was a bit nippier. So we might try and settle on that now. But honestly, I think until January we will sort of keep moving it about and seeing what's working and going sort of game by game.
Just looking here, just to digress totally, I thought, Tom Davis has got interesting hair. And then I went on to Chong. That is a nice barnet, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, especially after we had Chowdhury last year. Yeah.
Oh God, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of Chowdhury?
Oh, he was a really good player. Versatile. He did really well at holding midfield and at right back. One of our best players after Christmas. He was really good. Yeah, really rated him. A lot of Blades wanted him back in the summer. a lot of players will still want him back in January because we definitely need a right back.
He plays right back for us, to be honest with you. His main position, I think, is that defensive midfielder, but he's never going to start there because of the players that we've got in that position. Did he get injured towards the end of last season?
I can't really remember, to be honest.
Because I might be making this up totally, but I thought a few Sheffield United fans were saying, had he not been injured, you might well have won the playoff.
I'm not sure. I can have a look now.
Yeah, because it'd be interesting to see that. But it's interesting because he's not. You know what fans are like. They like players, and when they don't like players, they really sort of jump on them, if you like, for every little mistake. And Hamza, whilst he's one of our own, he is one of those players that doesn't get the crowd going, but he's a utility player.
Hamza played every minute in the playoffs, so.
Did he? Oh, okay. I might be getting confused then. Probably am at my age. Excuse me. Yeah. So you'd have him back?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because we are dire at right back at the moment. We signed Ben Godfrey as sort of like as someone who could play both centre half and at right back, but he wasn't good in the minutes that he did play. And then since Wilder's come in, Wilder's just left him out of the squad. He'll be going back to Atalanta in January, 100%. So we need a right back desperately, and Hamza Chowdhury is proven not just in that position, but for our club. So if there was any chance for coming back in January, then yeah, send him our way.
Well, you never know, because like I say, financially, we need all the money we can have. The only problem I would say with that is that our main right back is Ricardo Pereira, who is a bit of a sick note, and he spends as much time on the treatment table as he does on the pitch. And if that happened, it's like he played last weekend, but then he didn't play on Tuesday because he can't play 2 games in a week. And then when he doesn't play, Chowdhury is the one player that comes in. So whether we would let him go or not, I don't know. There's a lot of Leicester fans that would say, if you want him, just come and make us an offer, and they'd even drive him to, there for you. But I happen to think if he's happy being this sort of bit part player, if you like, for Leicester, I would definitely keep him, because, like I say, he can play all the way across the back, and you say that defensive midfielder role as well. And I think he's calmed down, because when we had him, every time he came on, you thought, there's a red card here. There's a red card in him. Or there's a penalty to be given away. What was his attitude like? And was he too aggressive at Sheffield United, or I presume he was good because you love him so much?
Yeah, he was better. I wouldn't have said what you were saying about him. He seemed pretty cool, calm. He had a fair amount of fouls in him to give away. Yeah. But yeah, never like, oh, he's going to come on, he's going to cost us the game, whatever. It seemed pretty solid.
Yeah, I don't know. Harry Suter wasn't one of yours, was he?
He was, yeah. We had him on loan up until Christmas. He got injured on Boxing Day, and and most blades will tell you that is the one reason why we didn't get promoted, or at least the biggest.
So I was right, but I got the players wrong.
Yeah. Suter was amazing. Such a good player, such a good leader. And yeah, we didn't replace him in January. This is sort of a theme. We lose players, whether it's injury, whether we sell them on, and we just don't replace them well enough, and it cost us. So we had Jack Robinson filling in from then to the end of the season, really. Which he's the club captain. He's also a good leader, but he's not got that presence that Suter has at about 6'6". He's not as good technically. He's just in every race. Suter was just one of the best defenders in the division, and yeah,
that's really, really interesting, because we signed him from Stoke, I think, originally, and we're in the Championship, and again we signed him and we never played him. He's injured again at the moment, so he's not going to be back until probably towards the end of December, early New Year. Then he's going to take a while to get in. If he was back fit again, not necessarily match fit, but fit, would you go for him again?
Without a doubt, yeah. So it's the same as Chowdhury. Any Blade would want him. Would want him back as soon as, and that'd be a no-brainer really if it's possible. Yeah, he was that good for us. And yeah, but once he is fit again, then you've got a great player on your hands.
If only we played him, because we are desperate at the moment for centre backs. They're not getting, if their defenders aren't getting sent off, they're getting injured, and I don't think he's ever been given the chance again at Leicester. One of those weird ones where we buy somebody and then never play them. God knows why we buy them, but there we go. So who do we need to watch out for on Saturday?
I didn't think I'd be saying this the other week, but Campbell's looking a lot better. Before the international break, he was looking quite unfit, wasn't doing a lot. But he showed against Wednesday that he can be explosive, powerful, get goals here and there. Other than that, Aware, he's been our danger man while Gus has been out. He's been really, really good going forward. He's been linking the play, being that creative player that we need, and he's been getting all sorts of goal contributions. Gus is back from injury now. I doubt he'll start, but he came on last night and he scored a worldie after about 10 minutes. But as soon as he was back on the pitch, we could see him playing passes that no one else in the team could do. So once he's on Saturday, then that's definitely someone to watch out for.
And of course, you've got the old timer up front, Danny Ings.
Yeah, he's not set the world alight. He's been consistent. He's been solid, but he's not got a goal yet. He had one ruled out for offside last night and one ruled out for offside on Sunday. So the goal's coming. I wouldn't bet on him scoring on Saturday, but I wouldn't be surprised if he scored. So
You'd sooner he started than Cannon, would you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'd rather start Ings.
Interestingly, one of your midfielders.
Pitch.
Yeah, sorry, talking over you there. I do apologise. But interestingly, one of your midfielders is called Samari.
Yeah.
We have a Samari as well. Would you like to sign him, and then you can put them together in the team of Samari? Because again, going cheap, and I'm sure there'll be a queue of Leicester players that would actually drive him up to your ground to sign. We absolutely hate ours. What's yours like?
Ours is good, but he doesn't really get the minutes. The fans have been wanting him to play. He scored a goal at Blackburn and had a really good performance, and he's sort of become a bit of a fan favourite since then. But he's not played much. Up until the last international break, we'd won 3 games all season. He'd started in all 3 of them, and they were his only 3 starts, which just shows the impact that he's had on the team, how he sort of anchored the midfield and just been that solid player that you need, especially in a struggling team. So, big fan of his, and I wanted to get more minutes.
Well, our Samare gets a few minutes here and there, but however many minutes he gets, it's way too many. So, like I say, more than happy for he comes on and he runs about and does nothing. He's one of those. But before we come on to the predictions, look, I'm going to ask you this because I mentioned it before we came live. Can't believe this, but I'm reading in the press that we're going to see a merger between the 2 Sheffield clubs to make one huge Sheffield City, or I don't know what you'd call yourselves.
Yeah, well, there's absolutely no chance that happening. I think there is a little bit of truth in that someone wanted to do it. Wednesday, I've had a lot of people inquire about the club or whatever, and one of those allegedly said that they'd want to merge Sheffield clubs. And there's also it's also been alleged that our owners, the American consortium, have sort of put feelers out about potentially buying Wednesday, which I don't like. They shouldn't be doing that. They're our rivals. But I don't think it's been proven that it was them that contacted Wednesday and said that they wanted to merge it. It might have been. I think there's a good chance it was, but I don't think that's been proven. But also, yeah, if anyone seriously wanted to entertain that idea, it wouldn't get past the FA, wouldn't get past the EFL, no matter how broken the EFL's fit and proper regulations are for owners. And even if it did go past all that and it looked like it was going ahead, then the fans would burn Sheffield to the ground before anything went through. So,
I mean,
not
I
a
get
chance in the hell that would happen.
I get your passion, and I understand how you feel like that. Because I mean, I wouldn't want to have Leicester to merge with any of our local rivals. But we haven't got a team within the county that is a professional team playing in the top four divisions. From the outside, and please don't tie me to the wall and shoot me for saying this, but from the outside, with the way finances are these days with football clubs, it's all about the money. Looking from the outside in, it does kind of make sense, though.
No, it doesn't make sense. If you look at it on spreadsheets, it makes sense because you're
That's
going,
what I mean. Yeah,
you
yes.
got there's this many fans in Sheffield. If we put them together, we generate this. We could have a stadium that's this, whatever. But as soon as you take it off paper, you know that it would start a civil war. So
Yeah, no, I accept that. I was being facetious, to be honest with you. So I apologise for that. But
yeah.
like you
I,
say,
I do kind of get what you mean though, but because there is definitely a part of me that wishes that Sheffield FC, the world's first football club, if they'd have carried on and been the only professional team in Sheffield, and they were the only team in this big city with so many passionate football fans, and also had the draw and the appeal of being the world's first football club, I think it will be a massive, massive team that would be competing for Europe, honestly. But that'd be like it's been that way for 150, 175 years, whatever they've been around for. Not at this point going, we've got two rivals that really hate each other. Let's turn them into one entity.
I get it, and I know, say years and years ago, I think they tried to do it with Oxford and Reading because they're sort of down the road, but that never came to anything. But I mean, I'm not the obvious TikTok user, but I do. I've got the attention span of a goldfish, so short TikTok videos are brilliant for me. I just watch them and click through them. And I've seen a few Sheffield FC things coming up on my feed because obviously it works out your algorithms, and I watch a lot of football clips on there. Notts County, would they argue that you weren't the first football, or they weren't the first football team?
No, they might argue that they're the oldest professional team or whatever their classification is, but I don't think there's any doubt that Sheffield FC are the oldest football team in the world. Just because Sheffield FC aren't a professional team, that's when other teams might come in and say, we can claim this, we can claim that. But no, Sheffield FC are the original.
Are they still going in any form at all?
Yeah. They are. They're like maybe 9th or 10th tier.
Okay.
You go to their ground and you see the signs like being a home of football or whatever. They've got some good memorabilia tucked away. But if you just went there and watched a match, you wouldn't think this is like a massively historic team or whatever. You just think it's the team at that level, really.
Maybe it may be a three-way merger.
Make it work.
You're never coming back and talking to me again, are you? Right. Okay. Well, it's that time. I had a bit of a brain freeze early when I did the prediction show. But what is your prediction for this game?
Right now, I'm going to say 1-1. I mean, usually I don't like making predictions fully until I've seen the teams and the teams sheets come out. But now I'd say 1-1. Neither of these teams would have expected to be at this point in the season and be this low down. So that does make it a bit more interesting. It's not just sort of two run-of-the-mill teams where you'd expect what's going to happen. We've played well last couple of games. We can build on those. We'll have a lot more confidence. But yeah, I'm really not sure, especially away from home. I think a draw is a sort of neutral prediction.
Well, I'd forgotten that I'd already put my scores into the prediction league because I have a prediction league as well, and I actually put down Leicester 1, Sheffield United 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I have to say, it was about 10:30, 11 at night when I put the T, because we do 6 of the games, we don't do all 12. And it was quite late when I put it up and thought, oh, sod this. Every week I sort of try and work it out, who's got the best XG, how many goals have they scored and conceded, what's their home form like compared to the other team's away form. And I'm still towards the bottom of the bloody league. So I'm thinking, this week I'm just going to sort of just go, yeah, that's going to be that, that's going to be that. And I'd actually gone, so I've had to go back to a 1-1, like you've said. But I am going to say I am really, really worried about this. I wish we were playing a Ruben Sellers.
Everyone wishes they were playing Ruben Sellers.
yes. I think, fairness, I think that they would.
Every game we played under Sellers, the opposition were chanting, "Can we play you every week?" You know, everyone would love that.
Well, you know, I mean, it's like we played Norwich, who hadn't won at home all season, and they went 1-0 up, and the fans were singing, "How shit are you? We're winning at home." You know, so I think, I mean, the 1-1 is a heart one, if I'm honest with you. My head says 2-1 to you because of the run you're on and the run we're on. So we will wait, but I hope my heart's right. I'll take a point. If you offer me a point now, literally, I wouldn't just bite your hand off. I'd bite you up to your elbow.
I'd take a point right now as well. So,
well, let's forget the game, shall we? Why put ourselves through all the and it is trauma of watching our football club sometimes. We'll just agree now. There you go, guys. It's 1-1. Take that. But look, before I let you go, I've got to ask, because it's been annoying me. Well, not annoying me. It's been making me wonder all night, because it does very much look like you've got a Leeds flag behind your head.
Oh, no, Yorkshire flag.
Ah, right, yes.
Yeah,
I understand that. Yeah, I mean, it's the wrong colour rose. It should be red, of course. Having spent 30 years in red rose country, so you have got the wrong colour up there. But we'll let you off. But I bet it's a Leeds thing, really. But no, Dylan. Let me get it right this time, because I got it right at the start, or wrong at the start. At Sheffield United Way.
Yeah, the Sheffield United Way. Take a look.
And you do obviously a lot of following on there. So, guys, do get over it and show them your support. Thanks very much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. Like we both said, we'll take 1-1 at the moment, won't we?
Yeah, amazing.
Thanks very much. Good luck for the rest of the season. I don't think you're going to be in trouble. I think you're going to survive. But just don't play well on Saturday, please. Take care, mate. All the best. Cheers. Bye-bye. So thanks very much to Dylan there at Sheffield United Way. Get over them and show them your support. Good enough to come on and do that for us. Really do appreciate that. And we will be back tomorrow. Yes. God, is it all? These shows just seem to roll into one. We're going to be back at about 1 o'clock with Kate's predicting her starting 11. As always, we go 4-2-3-1. That's because that's Marty's favourite formation. So we're going to go 4-2-3-1, and she'll just pick her starting 11, which, with all the injuries we've got, to be honest with you, should be quite hard. Just don't tell Sheffield United, we don't want them watching that. And then the press conference review at 7 o'clock with Wayne. And then, of course, from 11:30 Saturday morning, it is the watch along. Thanks to everybody that's been in the chat. Really appreciate it. Subscribe, click the notification bell, and click that share button as well. Like I say, once again, thanks to Dylan from at Sheffield United Way. And if you've been listening via your favourite podcast platform, thanks very much. I'll see you tomorrow. See you there now. That was Yorkshire, wasn't it?
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You'd better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.